Two guys either side of 50 with one dream to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Andy Walker, we're back for episode 45. So, Pilgrims, welcome back. It's the Missing Links Golf Show. And tonight, we're going to put the golf in the Missing Links Golf Show. It's exciting.
Well, we have got a little bit of golf to talk about. Of course, I have had my first round in quite a while. No, I won't have any spoilers right here, but
No, not yet.
certainly got out there and after a couple of months of not playing, and as the Pilgrims know, been injured and struggling in a few little old bloke things. It was good to get out in the golf course and play a full 18 holes. So we will get to that at some stage throughout the episode.
We will. We've got 36 holes of golf to get through tonight, ladies and gentlemen, or this morning or this afternoon, whenever it might be that you're listening to this episode. There is a bit of golf to talk about. Before we get to our rounds, I do just want to briefly say, Andy Walker, how good was it having Mick Patterson on the show last episode talking about his adventures in the Ontario Mid-Am? That was high quality stuff.
Yeah, look, we had a lot of fun during that episode. Really, really good guy. And it's really good to just have one of the Pilgrims actually get on the show and talk about stuff that's sort of common to us as well. I mean, we're all on this pilgrimage together, and it's good to hear from the other side.
It certainly is. And I'm sure that there's quite a lot more golf going on out there amongst the caravan that we don't yet know about. But we really enjoyed that catch up. It was fun. And I think it was good to at least hear about somebody playing golf, even if it wasn't necessarily either of us. But we're going to put that right in this episode. This is a double header. Both of us have played competitive rounds recently. I got out on the weekend and had a round at the Wentworth Club in Orange, which we will go through shortly. And Andy Walker, I feel like you are a little bit more fresh off the course.
Yes, well, I did actually play today. So yes, as we're recording, sort of in the evening, was out this morning, relatively early. Had a 7:48 tee off time at my home club, and it was, weather was lovely, 24 degrees Celsius.
Beautiful.
Really, really nice day. Not a cloud in the sky. It was a little bit fresh this morning. I mean, we're still in winter here in the Southern Hemisphere, but certainly warming up, which may or may not have been indicative of how I played golf.
Well, that's cryptic.
So, it was good, and it's well, I think I talked about it. Well, it wasn't last week because we had Mick on the show, but I think it was the week before. I was really struggling with where my golf game was, where my life was, in the fact that I couldn't actually get out in the golf course, and I just sort of felt a little bit trapped. And I could certainly feel it from a mental health perspective, just sort of sliding not into the abyss, but certainly it was having
sliding into the abyss.
Yeah, it was certainly having a pretty big impact on sort of how I felt on a day-to-day basis, and just being quite frustrated, actually, because I knew September, obviously September's coming up, and September's a pretty big month certainly for senior golf and what I've got planned for the month. And I just didn't feel as though I was gonna get across the line and be able to play a full month. I think, maybe 3 weeks ago, I played a few holes at my home club on a Saturday afternoon, and just felt really fragile with the injury. And I mean, I saw a physio. I've actually seen the physio twice now.
That's good.
Quite interestingly, we went through just what had happened over the last sort of 6 months, my swing changes, and surprisingly enough, he did say the rotation, the upper body rotation, probably played a fairly significant role in the injury, which I spoke to Scotty Fisher about it not long after that, and he didn't find that amusing at all, as you can imagine.
No, there was the phrase "I told you so" probably never never came up in that conversation. I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So look, the physio's been good. It's given me a couple of exercises, a couple of stretches, which I hadn't done before. All my stretches were sort of lower body and back because that's where I've had sort of the majority of my issues, as most golfers do, bit of golfers back. But this was more rotating the top half of sort of around my chest, which pecs and sort of lats, those muscles, just trying to isolate those and being able to just develop a bit of sort of flexibility and mobility through that area rather than just focusing on sort of lower back, which has been really good. It's a different it's a different body part that I'm targeting in that stretching, and I do feel as though that's it's improved.
You might have to film your stretching routine for the Pilgrims for the Facebook page, Andy Walker.
Well, it's now I've added because I was probably maybe 10 to 15 minutes of stretching at night. There was probably maybe 8 exercises that I was doing, and the physio's added another couple on top of that, which as I said, sort of targets that sort of upper body as well. So yeah, it's been pretty good. The
Mm.
other thing that he's got me doing is with resistance bands,
Mm.
and again, sort of targeting a similar area. And with resistance bands, because I usually do dumbbell training and then jump on the cross trainer, and that's pretty good from a general sort of strength. But the resistance bands, I found you can actually get quite specific with the area that you're targeting, which has also been pretty good.
Excellent. So good to see you really getting into the yoga, Andy Walker,
Is it yoga?
isn't it?
Well, I mean, resistance bands and stretching. I mean, I
It's
think
pretty much
yoga.
yoga, isn't it?
I think yoga is probably a little bit more than that. I think
Isn't
most
yoga
people
what
who
you do for a warm up before you do your sport?
I think most people who do yoga would probably have a fairly passionate argument with you about that, because those who do yoga I've found to be quite passionate about the activity.
Speaking of people who are quite passionate about their activity, have you done any meditating lately, Andy Walker?
I do meditating most days
Excellent.
when I'm walking my dog.
No, no, no. None of this walking the dog malarkey,
Yeah,
actual meditating,
yeah,
sitting
no,
down,
and
laying
and
down,
an active
nice quiet
meditation,
space.
That's me.
Disappointed. I'm not angry, I'm just
Mm.
disappointed.
Can you accept that I just won't get into the passive meditation, or is it something you're going to continue on with?
I think I'm going to continue to ask you about it on a regular basis because pilgrims need to know. Andy Walker, we've got 2 rounds of golf to talk about tonight. So
We do.
where do you want to start?
Oh, look, let's start with the first one. So you're sort of off first over the weekend. So let's kick off there.
Yeah, sounds good. Um, so picture this, pilgrims, 11:28 tea time on Saturday, late morning. Um, just to put a bit of pressure on as well, I had a school function to attend with the good lady wife kicking off at 4 p.m. on Saturday
Ooh,
afternoon.
ooh, that's a bit of pressure.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
so there are a
it
few.
obviously wasn't a medal stroke round.
No, no, no. It was actually a what they call a versus par event,
Ah,
which
right.
we'll,
Yep.
we'll, we'll come to in just a moment and explain that for everybody listening. But yeah, picture this: 11:28 tea time, 4 p.m. school function. just keep that in your back pocket as we get through the story. So it's something to refer back to. I had sort of mentioned that a 4 hour round would be a good target. Likelihood of that happening in a Saturday comp was thin. 4.5 hours would be a bad outcome. So maybe if we could wrap it up in 4:15, get home, quick shower, and to the venue. Not a
Mm.
lot of time to spare.
No, that's quite tight.
So it's very tight. It's very unrealistic. Anyway, come back to that later in the story. So versus par event. So what that means is you have your handicap for the day, obviously, which on the day I was playing off 8 for the day. Now, similar to a Stableford event where all of the holes have an index ranking, but the difference is with the Stableford event, you're earning points on the holes, 2 for a net par, 3 for a net birdie, 1 for a net bogey, etc. With the par event, whatever your par is for that hole. So with the handicap of 8 on holes indexed 1 to 8, I get a shot. So that means a bogey is a net par. So if I make bogey, it's a halved hole. If I make par or better, doesn't matter how much better, 1 shot, 2 shot, doesn't matter. It's a plus. If I make double or worse, it's a minus. So you want to finish with a plus score.
So
It's
it's
all very
effectively a match play event, but you're playing 18 holes. Yeah.
well match play against the course, really. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Essentially, yes. That is pretty much what it is. So anyway, just to set the scene, because I know pilgrims in different parts of the world may play under different conditions and may not come across this particular style of golf too often. I don't know if in the US you would play this kind of an event too often. To be perfectly honest, in Australia, we don't play it too often either. It's a bit confusing. It's not my favourite format. Couple of other things just by way of background. Andy Walker, worth noting, no warm up facilities currently at the
Ooh,
Wentworth Club
that's
due
not ideal.
to not ideal due to the construction of their new clubhouse, which is now open, but there's surrounding areas have been all kind of torn up and are not quite
Mm.
there yet. So there's a couple of temporary tee boxes on the holes that leave from around the clubhouse. There's
Yep.
no practice green. There's no warm up net.
Mm.
It's basically out of the car park, pay your green fees, get on the first tee, and away you go. So,
Right.
you know, fine when you're 18 or 20. Um,
But when you're, still a young bloke and under 50, you should be fine.
You'd think so. So anyway, that's the background. Probably also worth mentioning it was not raining when we played. We were lucky. We had the only break in the weather probably for about 7 days either side of it. So
Yep.
it was wet underfoot. Just racking up the excuses before I get into the round. Anyway,
I was going to say,
Jim Walker.
sounds like that you didn't play that well, and yeah, you're just wanting to find a few little excuses there.
Just setting the scene because I did not do a pre-round recording, so I have to give you that information now. So anyway, we turn up first hole. First hole's a short par 4. It's not the hardest hole going around. Short par 4, so I don't get a shot, so I have to make par. Okay. Step up, absolutely crunch a drive, which with no warm up, I was quite happy about. Andy Walker, according to Shot Scope, it went 259 meters.
Nice.
So it's about 285 yards. Um, it was about probably 30 meters short of the green. It was a relatively short par 4. So I was feeling pretty good about life. I was thinking all sorts of birdie related thoughts at this point. Got out my sand wedge and thinned it through the back of the green, which was nice. Just not a long way through, been into the back fringe, not the back fridge, the back fringe. Hit a pretty good putt, but I had no idea about the pace of the greens because there was no practice green. And my putt got to the hole, just shaved the edge, and went about 15 feet past the hole down the
Nice.
hill.
Mm.
So unfortunately, I missed the comebacker and dropped a shot. It's disappointing. Disappointing start. Give one away on the first. So we went to 2. I do get a shot on 2. Difficult par 4. I think it's fair to say I overdrew the drive, Andy Walker.
Mm. Mm. Is that also known as a snap hook?
I wouldn't call it a snap hook. I'd say, and being left-handed, it started right and went a little further right and was deep
Mm.
in the trees, like deep in the trees. And they're those, those big pine trees that a bit like a Duntree, similar kind of tree that comes all the way down to the ground.
Yep. Yep.
So the bump and run under the trees is not really an option.
Mm.
So I tried to hit a sand wedge over the trees back to the fairway. Didn't quite manage it, so I got blocked out for my third, but managed to punch a 6 iron about a bit over 100 meters up on elevated green onto the green, stayed on the green, two putt bogey and half the hole. So that was good. So I'm one down after two. Third hole, no shot, par three, 7 iron, missed to the left, chipped on two putts, another drop shot. So I'm two down. Fourth hole, long par four, do get a shot. So that was good. Hit an excellent drive, and then hit a hybrid just short left of the green because it was quite a long way and quite uphill. So hit a hybrid just short left of the green. Hit an awful chip and missed the putt and missed the return. So I dropped a shot.
Mm. Oops.
Mm. That's disappointing. Fifth hole, par three, don't get a shot. Pulled an 8 iron, poor chip, missed the putt, dropped a shot. Sixth hole, another short par three, pulled a 9 iron. Not just pulled it out of the bag, but actually pulled it off the tee.
Mm.
Dead behind a tree, couldn't get up and down, so dropped another shot. Tough round going so far.
On the train again.
Felt that
I
way.
can't wait to get back on that train again.
Yeah, felt that way. This is good. It's good seeing you there, Andy. What are you up to? The seventh hole, 390-meter par four. I do get a shot on the seventh. I hit an excellent drive, just over 250 meters. Hit a 9 iron to the front fringe. Good putt, tap in par. Got one back.
Nice.
Come
Nice.
on.
Off the train.
Off the track. Ninth, sorry, eighth hole, par five. Don't get a shot. Hit a good 5 wood off the tee because it's big dog leg. You can't hit driver unless you can hit your driver about 300 meters on the fly and carry the lake. I can't do that. I don't even think you'd carry the lake there, Andy Walker, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I can't fly at 300.
It's a big ask. There are a couple of people apparently that give it a crack, but just don't even
It's
see.
it's a long way, like
I don't even see
300 meters. That
I
is.
think it's
That's
like two. I think it's like 292 or something on the fly
yeah.
from the members' tees.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't absolutely flush it, you're not getting there.
I mean
And then where you,
that's a Rory or a Bryson type carry. Like
oh no, absolutely.
it's a long way.
And there's trees on the near side of the lake as well. So if you didn't carry, you'd be dropping like with in the
Yeah.
trees, and
Yeah.
you'd have to chip back out and then go all the way around. So it would cost you probably 4 shots if you tried it
Yeah.
and you didn't pull it off.
Mm.
I didn't try it. Hit a good 5 wood. Hit a good hybrid. I then had a wedge onto the green. Left it like on the green, but a bit short. So I had a long first putt. And I dead set nearly missed the ball with the putter. It was that
Ooh.
far off the toe.
Wow.
So that was a 3 putt bogey. Dropped another shot.
Almost an air swing with the putter. That's interesting.
It was so bad. It's honestly so bad. It's a real concern. We'll come to that. Then we go on to the ninth. The ninth, short par four, but it's a tricky one because it goes, you tee off, goes down a big dip and then up a big hill. You could possibly have a crack at driving the green if you wanted to. There's two massive, deep, gaping bunkers on either side of the front of the green that you really want to stay out of. And then there's a lot of trees and everything sort of around the green. So it's not really worth the risk. So I hit a hybrid down to sort of the valley. What I didn't realize though is there's a massive big eucalypt that kind of grows up with a big overhanging branch. And I don't know why I'm doing hand signals to demonstrate this because we're an audio podcast. There's a big
Well, this is going to be
branch.
posted on YouTube, so
It will. It will.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was really a sand wedge to the green, but this overhanging branch was right in the line of the ball flight, so I couldn't hit that. So I clubbed down to an 8 iron and just tried to bunt a low one, which then went in the right hand bunker, um, which I couldn't get up and down, so I dropped another shot. So um, basically, after 9 holes, I was at -6
Mhm. Wow.
because I only got 3 of my 8 shots on the front
Yeah.
nine. The front nine is supposed to be easier,
Yeah. Right.
and I was sitting at -6,
Mm. So what's
about
is
to go
that
into the
about
tougher
nine
nine.
about 9 over
It's
if you
nine
were to,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a 9 over 9. So I was playing solid bogey golf, Andy
Mm.
Walker, at this point. Not loving life. And so, it was a case of probably time for a snack because it's
Yeah.
important to snack.
Oh, look, snacking is very important. I'm
So
I'm
as
I'm
we
I'm a big fan of a snack.
and I hadn't packed a snack, um,
Oh,
just in the rush to get out of the house. Hadn't packed a snack, so sent the young man who was out with me for the day as caddy, sent him off to the pro shop to try and sort out some snacks for us, which he did. He came back with a Mars bar each.
I
wasn't
was gonna say what I could almost have guessed it was going to be chocolate.
wasn't exactly what I was after, but
I'm not convinced that a sugar hit is the best, thing to be consuming after 9 holes. I mean, I don't think, but maybe at sort of 16, 17, if you just need a bit of a sugar hit. But after nine, you're going to get the sugar high, but can guarantee before you finish the back nine, you're going to get that sugar low as well.
it's a fact. Andy Walker, it is an absolute fact. So anyway, we're at -6, not really staring down the barrel of a great round at this point. All sorts of thoughts start going through the head at this stage of, oh God, what's going on? Why can't
Mm.
I? Why can't I find a green? Why can't I chip? Why can't I putt? All of those sorts of thoughts. But I thought no.
Woe is me.
I thought no.
Mm.
And to his credit, the young man did remind me, can't hit those shots again. Forget about it. Move on to the next one. Said, all right, good advice. I'm listening. So we go to the 10th. We start afresh on the second nine. So we go to the 10th. 10th hole, pretty straight par 4. I don't get a shot. So I hit a really good drive straight up the middle. 40, at least me 48-degree wedge into the green. Hit that to the right edge to a right pin. A bit of a slippery putt, but a nice, comfortable 2-putt par. So we halved that one,
Nice.
which is good. The 11th, short par 4, so no shot once again. Andy Walker hit my worst drive of the day. A heel cut into the left trees and dead, just dead. No choice but to chip sideways back out onto the fairway. Still 130 meters out, couldn't quite get up and down. Wasn't far off, but couldn't quite get up and down. So dropped shot. So I'm now 7 down.
Mm.
Not ideal. Then we move to the 12th. Long par 4. Do get a shot on this one. Hit a good drive down the middle. And the 8 iron to the center of the green, 2-putt par, get a shot back. So that's good.
Nice. Mm.
Then we move to the 13th. 150-meter par 3. No shot on this one. So I have to make par. Hit a beautiful 7 iron to the center of the green, about probably 13, 14 feet from the hole,
Mm.
pin high. Hit an awful first putt, Andy Walker. Pulled it way right. It's probably a metre and a half right of the hole as it went
Wow.
moving past.
Mm.
Missed a comebacker and out of nowhere a 3-putt bogey to drop another shot.
Mm.
Disappointing. And then we moved on to the 14th. The 14th is the stroke 1. So obviously I do get this and it's par 5 up the road. So out of bounds all up the right-hand side.
Yep.
Hit a really good drive. Hit a good hybrid just short of the green. Pitched on with the sand wedge to about 15 feet. Still had the previous hole in the back of my mind as I drained the birdie putt straight in the
Nice.
heart.
So
which
if
is a
you
bit
get it,
wasted. I only needed to two putt that for like,
well, I was going to say if you're playing plus, you could have two putted and it was just still plus.
I know. But anyway, it
It
was nice
was
to make a
that
birdie.
was a waste.
It was. It was. So then we move on to the 15th, par four, slight dog leg to the left. Don't get a shot on this one, which I think is harsh because it's not an easy hole. I hit a really good drive again, nearly 260 meters up the center. It was an 8 iron in, and I did hit a good 8 iron, just drifting to the right edge of the green, and there was another one of those overhanging eucalypts. The ball was going through, like the end of a branch where it's just the little bits of leaves and the tiny
Mm,
little twigs just going through there, which I thought that's fine. It's just going to sail straight through there, land on the green, being nice and easy. Somehow it's hit one of those twigs skinnier than your pinky finger and it's launched at 20 meters backwards away
nice.
from the green. I have
Mm,
no idea how it even happened.
mm,
I felt robbed. Could not get up and down, unfortunately, and therefore dropped another shot. So I had this plus minus, plus minus, plus minus thing going on the back nine, which was disappointing. But anyway, regrouped. I thought, look, if I par in from here, it's going to be a pretty good second nine at least. So 16th is difficult hole. It's a long par four, straight up the hill, slight dogleg left. So therefore not straight up the hill, slight dogleg left up the hill. Hit another really good drive, 260 meters up the fairway. Hit an 8 iron approach, would have been my best of the day, to around about probably, I reckon, 12 feet. Pin at the back of the green, got it all the way back there, which was good. And I do get a shot on this hole, so I didn't need to make the birdie putt, which I didn't. So I tapped in for par and still got the shot. So that was good.
It was good to see you didn't waste any shots on that hole.
No, no, no. I didn't. I mean, I learnt from my errors on the 14th. Didn't want to get too aggressive. So then we two holes to go, move to the 17th, and this is a 190-meter par three down the hill. So what's that? It's about 210 yards roughly. So I hit my four hybrid, um, which had been going well all day. But on this occasion, it decided to squirt left into the trees. And I'm talking deep into the trees, Andy Walker. We're
Mm,
about 30
mm,
meters left of the green. It was a big miss. What made it better is that the pin was on the left as well. So it was nicely short sided. It
nice.
was an
Yeah.
elevated pin. But what was in my favor is I was in a little bit of a semi clearing. So I didn't have any of the big stuff around me, but there was a tree that was like a smallish tree, but a tree all the same that was right in front of the pin. And it was about probably 5 or 10 meters short of the green. So I either had to run one along the ground under that, up the hill onto the green, short sided, like through the rough, up the hill. But I thought, you know what? Let's just really open up the sand wedge and try and
Mm,
Phil Mickelson this bad boy,
mm,
which I did to about 4 feet.
nice.
And I reckon if I had another 99 goes at that shot, I could not do it again. It was a cracker. It was shot of the day.
So you were playing the
Um,
percentages.
I didn't really have a choice at that point because I didn't get oh no, I did get a shot on the hole. So but I
Mm.
had to par it to get a shot back. So, like, why not? 4.5 feet. What do you reckon, Andy Walker? Given what
Oh,
you've heard so far,
did
what do
you
you
miss it?
what do you think?
Oh, or did you three putt it?
Place your bets, Pilgrims. What do you reckon?
Let's say three putt.
You going three putt from 4.5 feet
Yeah.
to drop a shot?
Yeah.
Andy Walker, I'm shocked. I binned it straight in the heart, made
Nice.
par up and
Nice.
down. I got a shot back. So I am there for +1 on the nine at this point, and back to -5 all up. Get on to 18. I do get a shot on 18. It's quite a long par four with a slight dog leg to the right, heavily bunkered green complex. Hit. I was off first because everyone else on 17, we all went in the trees on the left and no one else got up and
Mm,
down. So I was off first, the only one to make par. And slight dog leg. Like, I thought, there's no way I can go through this dog leg. Like, it's looked a long way down there. I was wrong. I did manage to go through the dog leg, therefore hit the drive I wanted to hit, but it went through sort of in the tree line, I found myself on a cart path, but there was just no drop option because to drop either side of the cart path would have been in a worse situation. So I had to
Yep.
bunt one off the cart path through a gap in the
Mm.
trees, which kind of worked out all right. I was just short of the green, but I was short sighted with big bunker between me
Mm.
and the green. So a bit of a scary pitch, but I hit an excellent pitch to about probably 6 or 7 feet and missed the putt. So tapped
Ooh.
in for bogey to
Mm.
halve the hole. And Eddie Walker, that meant that I finished -5. Um, so I was playing past 69 because of a couple of temporary tees. So it was an
Yep.
82, 13 over 82.
Mm.
Um,
How do you feel
but,
about it?
well, let me read you some strokes gain data and you tell me what you think.
Mm.
So start with break the parts of the game down. Off the tee against a scratch golfer. Off the tee, I was -1.45. So hitting driver quite well.
Mm.
Because honestly, those drop shots, probably it was 2 drives and then a couple of irons on the par threes.
Yep.
Strokes gained approach was -3.43.
Mm.
And remember, maybe a year ago, I was kind of about -8 on
Yeah.
approach.
Yep.
Not too bad. And honestly, that was back nine. Rescuing it, hit the ball well on the back nine.
Yep.
Short game was -4.21.
Ooh.
That's where it is.
Mm.
Putting -0.63, which,
Eh,
to be
okay.
perfectly honest, I mean, I made a couple of putts, but geez, I missed a couple of putts as well. So,
Yeah. Yep.
but where it gets really interesting is when you break it down by the nines. My strokes gained, and I don't have it by the parts of the game. I've only got a total. My strokes gained total for the round was -9.72. On the front nine, it was -8.71, which means
Oh.
on the back
Okay.
nine, it was -1.01. So
Yeah. So you've had a good back nine at
I've
least.
had a good back nine.
Mm.
So I think reflections on that, happy with the driver with ball striking, happy with irons predominantly, certainly on the second nine. Confidence levels with wedges around the green is at an all-time low, as is with the putting. So that is
Yep.
where the work needs to be done. There's
Mm.
just no question at all
Yep.
that's where it needs to be done.
Mm.
So there you go. That was the
Mm.
round that was.
Yep. Yep. So what's the plan from here then? Are you obviously with the longer days and everything as we've sort of spoken about over the last few weeks, is the plan to get back into doing some short game work and you feel as though that's where you're going to make the most gains, or do you still feel as though maybe some of the approach play work is where you need to focus?
I think I'll just continue to focus on ball striking because it's more fun. No, I'm being silly. Absolutely, it's got to be short game without a doubt.
Mm.
I did manage to sneak down for half an hour this afternoon to the
Yep.
Missing Links Golf Show High Performance Centre Central West Short Game Annex and chip a few and putt a few. The
Yep.
thing is, right, in practice, it's fine.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then when it's during the round, it is falling apart. So it's
Okay.
clearly mental.
Yeah. So there's something in your mental game that when you're out on the golf course that you need to work on rather than
Yep.
a technical aspect of it.
Yep. Yep. Like I went down this afternoon and it's half an hour chipping around the practice green. I didn't miss hit one,
Yep.
you know.
Did you gamify
I didn't
your
today.
practice?
I didn't today. I ordinarily would. Today I
Mm.
was just really trying to groove in a bit of like emotion to
Yep.
to be hitting them and build a bit of confidence as much as anything else
Mm.
before this weekend. I think part of it is as well changing between styles of shots from hitting full shots to then hitting pitches around the green. And what I'm really finding though is that it's a confidence thing of standing over the ball, thinking of all the ways it can possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
And I need to get that out of the head because it's very defensive and very tentative, which means
Yep.
decelerating and all of the other problems which come along. So I've got to somehow get back into a more aggressive mindset and
Mm.
not fear the outcome, but actually just try and play the shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's it's not a great mindset, when you're standing over a shot thinking about what could go wrong.
Yeah.
You can't you need to be focused on your landing spot and what you're wanting to do with the shot rather than yeah, focusing on what could potentially go wrong. So that's yeah, you need to really work on that.
Yep. Yep. I think that's where it is. And to be honest with you, I think putting's much the same. I have had some
Although
improvements in putting
you're
and
pretty good with putting. I mean, if you what were you minus 0.6, did you say against?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I mean that in itself. I mean that's one of the if not the strongest part of your game. So if you could replicate that across the other three areas, then you know
It's
you
bizarre
get.
though, because it didn't feel like that.
Mm,
Um, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe the expectations are a little bit out of kilter as well,
mm.
from
Yeah, and
things
and
that
look,
you think you make.
it's interesting because I before we came on air, I showed you
Mm.
the book I've just bought. I've for the pilgrims, I've just bought Mark Brody's Every Shot Counts in hard copy, and I've only had a chance to read the forward. And it's by Sean Foley, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Sean
Tiger's
Foley's
ex swing coach.
yeah,
Yeah,
or Tiger, Justin Rose,
yeah,
like Hunter Mahan, like he's
yeah.
been through quite a few of the top pros, and he's very big on strokes gained, right? Obviously,
Mm.
because he wrote the forward for Mark Brody,
You would think so.
but he says that like he gives the example of Justin Rose in that Justin Rose felt as though his wedge play was quite poor, right?
Yeah,
And he having a conversation with Sean Foley one day, going, "I really need to work on my wedge play because my wedge play is really really poor." And Sean Foley's gone, "Well, here's the strokes gain data. You're actually the best guy on tour with your wedge play."
you're not going too bad then.
So Justin Rose has gone, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." So then he actually was able to go out on the course and perform even better because he's going, "Well, I'm the best on tour with my wedge plays."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's saying that the stats don't lie, and he uses stats not just for game improvement, but to instill confidence in his students in the different parts of the game where they are really really good. So that's potentially something that you could sort of take out of it. If you're not feeling as though your putting's
Mm.
that good, well, the stats don't lie, right?
It's a very interesting point that you raise. I mean, are you suggesting that maybe my attitude should be I'm a good putter and having confidence in that when I get on the green rather than second guessing myself and thinking that I'm not rolling it as I want to?
That is exactly what I'm saying because it's the stats say that you are just under a scratch golfer when it comes to your putting, and that's over. I mean, how many rounds is that now over that? You've been there or thereabouts
Oh,
with a scratch golfer.
it's been all year,
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it's not even just one round,
yeah,
right? It is 2024's golf. You have been there or thereabouts around a scratch golf with your putting. So why
mm,
wouldn't you then take that out of the stats and go,
yeah,
well, actually,
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna reframe how I feel about my putting and what I'm thinking when I'm putting. I
Ever
mean,
thought
everyone's
of
going
getting
to.
into coaching, Andy Walker?
Interestingly, I have thought about it after doing mental golf type. I did consider going down that route, but haven't actually taken the step yet.
Yeah, I mean, I take the point. And why is it though? Like, I guess I guess it's the nature of putting as well, though, isn't it? Because it's so binary that it's make or
Mm,
miss.
yeah.
That you probably beat yourself up over the ones you miss. I mean, like I walk
Mm,
away, and here's the thing, right? I walk away from that round, and the putt that I remember the most is the one on what was it, 13, that was a birdie putt that I turned into a three-putt bogey by hitting a
mm,
horrible first putt and then missing the one
yep.
on the way back.
Mm,
That's the one I remember. The one that I
But
don't think about was the one on the very next green where I binned it from 15 feet for birdie.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. So again, it's and there's another sort of not good quote that I like is that you can't read the label from inside the jar, right? So when you're inside your own
Yeah,
head,
yeah, 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 yeah,
you've got a
yeah,
certain
yeah,
perception of
yeah.
who you are from being inside the jar, whereas you step outside of the jar and you start looking at different parameters like strokes gained and maybe someone else's perspective of what you are is very different.
Mm, it's quite deep.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting because I have had a pretty similar perspective on my putting, and I mean I wasn't a particularly good putter. Well, I don't feel as though I've ever really been that good a putter. And you talk to Scotty Fisher about my short game and putting, and he didn't obviously doesn't have a very good perspective of my putting,
But
but my
he's probably one of those guys who's like +5 or something
yeah. He binned it from
short game.
everywhere. Like he
Yeah,
had one of the best short game and putting that I've ever seen. Like he
yeah.
was just
So he's not a fair
phenomenal.
comparison at all.
Yeah, yeah. But I played a couple of months back when I played Castle Hill, sort of late, when I had that injury in late May.
Mm.
And I actually played with my mechanic, right? And that's the reason why I sort of get to go down and play Castle Hill Country Club is because my mechanic's a member there. So I take my car down to Sydney and he fixes, well, he's got his employee that fixes my
How
car
good's that?
and we go and play golf, right?
It's so good.
But he said to me after the round, he said, "Oh, you're pretty good from 6 foot in. Like you barely miss them." And I thought about it. And I went, actually,
Interesting.
yeah, that's pretty true because I've improved that part of my game substantially
Mm,
over the last sort of 12 months to 18 months. So again, I think it's until someone actually says it to you,
mm,
and sort of starts that thought process, it's difficult to change your own perception of yourself, I think, until, you know, I guess someone else sort of stands up and goes, "Hey, you're pretty good at that."
I
And
think that's true. I also feel in the back of my mind, and I think this plays a part in it as well. Putter and wedges are the only tools in the bag that I've not had a fitting for.
yeah,
And I just, because I've now seen what a difference it makes with all of the other clubs in the bag, I think in the back of my mind, I'm kind of going, oh, maybe I've got the wrong gear for this part of my
mm,
game.
yeah,
And that's sort of a confidence thing as well. Like
mm,
I have got no idea if I should be playing a face balanced or toe hang putter, for example, because I don't really know does my stroke naturally want a bit of a curve or a bit of an arc, or does it want to be straight back and straight through? I don't know. So I feel like I need to answer that question. So at least I'll know what type of putter I should be using. Um, to be honest, wedges is probably less of a thing for an actual fitting, more so just making sure that you got the gaps right and playing the right bounce. Um, I don't know.
see,
Jason Butt may disagree.
and I disagree with that as well. I think for you, a wedge fitting is much more important than what a putter fitting is because the way I look at it is if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? And you're almost a scratch marker with your putting, whereas you've still got work to do with your short game. So, and I've seen your wedges, right? And they aren't particularly new.
No, they're not.
So
They're not.
I think your first stop should be a wedge fitting,
Yeah,
and
like
and
to be
start
honest,
to
that's the highest thing on my priority list at the
yeah.
moment. So well, that's where I'll be going
And
next.
potentially confidence thing. It could be a bounce thing. Could be
Could
that
be.
you've
It could be.
just got the wrong bounce on your wedges. And if you go through, I mean, my thing's always been to have a slightly higher bounce rather than a lower bounce. But certainly, if you've got a low bounce, if you've got low bounce wedges, they are more difficult, I find, to hit. And I think most people are the same, unless you're playing off like rock hard fairways.
No,
you're
which
going to
I'm not.
find,
I'm
yeah,
not.
which
When
means that
I
higher bounce wedges are going to be better suited for you. So if you, and I don't know what the bounce on your wedges are, but certainly if they're not high bounce wedges or higher bounce wedges, talking sort of 8 to 10 degrees of bounce, then I think that that could be a really big step forward for your
no,
confidence.
I think my sand wedge is 10 and my gap wedge is 8. I think
Mm,
from memory. When I get it wrong though, I dig the leading edge in. That's what
mm,
happens
yeah,
generally.
and that's a thing with a low bounce club. That's what you'll do. So yeah, I certainly think that you know it's something that you need to pursue and go down that line of having a wedge fitting and just to see if there's something better out there, which I'm sure there is.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 4 shots around just in that.
Yeah.
So anyway, very good. That's enough about me.
Mm,
I feel like we need to move on to your
mm.
exploits from today, Andy Walker.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm pleased to say that obviously I did make it all the way around.
That's exciting. Do we
I'm
need the
also
emotional music at this point just
we
to,
do we
yeah,
do. I'm also pleased to say that I didn't re-injure my sternum or ribs throughout the
even better?
round. Yeah, so I must admit to not still not being 100% confident
Mm.
in sort of the where the injury's at. I think that it's something I'm going to have to be really careful of. I think it's something that I'm going to have to manage over the next probably 6 months, 12 months, to make sure that I don't re-injure it. So this is still seeing the physio, doing the additional stretches, doing the resistance bands, because it does still feel, well, probably fragile is the right word for how it feels. So it does feel as though even though I didn't re-injure it today, there is definitely a possibility that it could sort of come up pretty quickly. So I'm very aware of that. So there are positives there. The good thing is that I'm playing again. I got my 18 holes in and I'm injury free at this point in time. So that's a positive. So next week, I've got the Glenmore Seniors on Monday. And I'll be traveling down with David McClelland again to
Oh, that's
play in the
exciting.
Glenmore Seniors. So
That is exciting.
September is off and running. So yeah,
Well,
very excited.
the best news, to be honest, is that you've now registered around in August, so
Correct. The
you've
dreaded
avoided
minus
the
one.
-1 this month, which is
Correct.
good.
Correct. But yeah, onto my round today. It was really, really good day. Beautiful conditions. Yeah, top of 24 degrees Celsius. Not a cloud in the sky. A little bit of wind, not a huge amount of wind, but certainly this morning when I teed off at 7:48, it was stunning. It was really, really good. A really good day to come back to. So yeah, really happy with that. So starting off, I pretty much a regulation par on the first, par five. I only hit a sort of three driving iron down the first, so 3 iron, 6 iron, wedge onto the green. Thought I'd made the putt, but just sort of shaved the edge and tapped the return in. On the second, again hit a pretty good 9 iron. It's probably about sort of 20, 25 feet from the flag. Couple of putts, good par start. On the
Nice.
third, again, hit my three driving iron, hooked a little bit into, or overdrew it, I should say,
Overdrew
into
it.
the
Yep.
trees, overdrew it.
Yep. Yep.
And I
Because
had
we
this
don't
shot.
hook anything in the missing
We
link
don't,
culture. We
we
don't
don't.
hook. Yep.
Had this shot. I was blocked out by the trees, and I had this shot where I had to, I'm talking about an overdraw, I had to overdraw it back around the trees to the green, but all the way down the right-hand side of the fairway is water. So I'm aiming
Ooh,
out over the water and overdrawing it back into the green. And I hit it exactly the way I wanted to hit it.
that is
Straight
a
into, yeah,
scary shot.
straight into the middle of the green. Playing partners, they applauded. They thought it was a fantastic shot, which is always good to get some acknowledgement from your playing partners. And then subsequently three putted.
Oh, that is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So I was basking in my glory of this magnificent
oh,
overdrawn 6 iron out over water back into the middle of the green, and then three
it's
putted.
so annoying. And I know exactly how you feel. Like, and that's how I felt on the 13th when I've hit like a really nice 7 iron, laser straight, pin high, center of the green, exactly where I want to hit it because I wasn't going to go chasing the pin
Yep.
tucked on the right. And then you're like, just chunder all over the putt. It's
Yep.
so annoying.
It is. It is. Well, one
So
of the,
annoying.
if not the most annoying thing on a golf course. But
Yeah.
anyway, look, acceptance. We're practicing acceptance here
I
on the
know,
Missing
but
Links
you'd
Golf
rather
Show.
miss the
So,
green with that approach and then scrambling up and down and,
uh,
kind of walk away from there. But yeah, the hit
anyway,
a great shot and followed up with a three putt. It's just not okay.
joy to the world.
Not okay.
Anyway, so on to the fourth, par three. Hit an okay shot, probably to about sort of 30, 35 feet, two putted, regulation par. Fifth is a par five, absolutely ripped a drive just down the left hand side. Hit a 7 iron into the green, par five, 7 iron. To probably, I was just on the front fringe, but it was a front pin as well.
Mm.
And hit, well, maybe not my worst putt of the day, but it was pretty close to my worst putt of the day. I reckon I missed the hole by a good 2 feet, I
Yeah.
reckon.
So it still wasn't a meter and a half.
It wasn't. I must admit, I did not miss the hole by a meter and a half on any
I
putt
don't
today. So
I don't reckon I've ever done that before either. That was so
yeah,
bad.
yeah. But I still made the birdie putt, so I was back to
Well,
back
that's
to
good.
square. Yeah.
So just on that, right? You're coming back from injury.
Mm.
You, in what are we now? 5 holes in.
5 holes in.
Um,
Yeah.
and you're comfortable having a good rip at driver. You got to be feeling
Mm.
pretty good then.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it was the fifth hole, so
You're warmed up, yeah.
I'm warmed up. I did a few weeks ago when I played 5 holes. It was that same 5 holes. It was the opening 5 holes that I played. And yeah, I was feeling my sternum all through that first 5 holes. And I didn't really feel too much for that, in relation to the sternum for the first 5 holes. So I was feeling pretty reasonably confident that it was gonna hold up. But the only thing that I had in the back of my mind was that in late June, I also was feeling pretty good, sort of well through the first 14 holes, and then on 15 it started to
Yeah.
hurt. So I did have that in the back of my mind, but at this stage I was feeling pretty good. So on the sixth, par three, regulation par, green, couple of putts. On seven, hit my tee shot to the left, and I was blocked out a little bit by the trees, but just punched a little wedge out to, maybe about oh, probably 15 feet short of the green. But because uh, I play on Cooch fairways, I was actually able to putt it,
Mm.
which was really good. Pin was on the front of the green, and I knocked it to 2 feet and knocked it in. So still par through 7 holes, which I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling first round back, feeling a little bit rusty, but at the end of the day, even par through 7 holes, I was going, you know what, this is yeah, this
So
this is good.
what were you playing off for the day? Were you playing off three or
So
four?
playing off three, yeah.
Three.
So
Yep.
my exact handicap 2.2, but on the day playing off three.
Okay.
So then
Even through seven. It's good.
even through seven. So then on eight. Now I normally only hit my four fairway off eight, but we're
Mm.
playing downwind, and I thought if I could just sort of nudge it out there a little bit,
Oh,
par
no.
five,
This does
I could
not feel
probably,
good.
yeah, we could probably get home in two. Uh, Overdrew it
Mm,
into the hazard.
no.
Yeah.
No. Andy
So
Walker.
took a drop, Punched a 6 iron down to about 65 meters to the flag. And because my touch has really sort of gone out the window, I actually thought I'd hit a reasonably good 58-degree wedge, but just flew it straight over the stick into the back bunker.
Mm,
Now, on the eighth hole at my home club, there is a water hazard that basically runs straight across the front of the green. It's
there
actually
is.
it's quite a tough green because there's really no margin for error, and it's quite a shallow green as well. So I was sort of thinking, okay, we'll land it about pin high, and if you've got a 10, 15 feet sort of putt coming back down the hill, that's fine. So the thing I just didn't want to be short, and I thought, okay, we'll just give yourself a chance to get up and down for par, right? But flew it into the back bunker. Then I've got this really difficult sand
Downhill.
shot downhill,
Mm.
no green to work with, hazard, staring me in the face on the other side of the green. Actually said to my playing partner, can you maybe go and stand at the hazard
Oh, the
just in
confidence
case?
is just,
Yeah. And then I basically bladed my sand wedge shot. And fortunately, my playing partner caught it before it went into the hazard, but
nice.
that was it. Pick up, wipe for the hole.
Ugh, ugh.
So yeah, wasn't particularly happy with that, but at the end of the day, I mean, because it was a wipe, the most really that sort of goes on your scorecard is a 7. Whether I would have had more than that, given I was going to drop it again and sort of keep going, I'm not sure. But at the
The
end of the
beauty
day,
of
that's
Stableford.
beauty of Stableford. That's what goes on your scorecard. So went to the ninth. Again, par four, pretty tight tee shot, with hazard sort of both sides. Overdrew my tee shot into the hazard.
Mm, disappointing.
Very disappointing. Got down there, found it, could actually play it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the second shot at nine,
It's
again, there's no
over the water.
over the water, no bailout at
Yeah.
all. I had a 5 iron in my hand from about 165 meters and just made it over the hazard, but to the right hand side of the green.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that because of the lie you were coming out of?
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't a great lie. It was a bit of a scruffy lie in the hazard, a little bit of long grass, and the club just got caught up a little bit in the grass, and I actually said to him because I couldn't quite see it because where I was actually hitting over fairway bunkers, and I couldn't really see the green or the hazard in front of the green, and had to say to my playing partners, "Oh, did that get over?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, it got over." So that was fine. So I went around the lake, found my ball, and didn't get up and down, made bogey,
Shame.
which,
Not a
you
bad
know,
result though
yeah,
from where your
not a
drive went.
yeah, not a bad result. I mean, look, it was effectively 3 over.
Mm.
After having a pick up with on 8 and then bogey 9. So at the end of the day, I turned to the back nine, thinking, you know what, I'm not in a bad position. I haven't played a round of golf for a couple of months. I've only played one competition round in 3 months. First
Mm.
first sort of competition back, not in a bad spot. So, I wasn't unhappy, but yeah, had that sort of little tinge of disappointment that I'd sort of finished the way I did. So onwards and upwards.
Absolutely. So, second
So
nine.
back nine. Um, Hit a reasonable drive, but it just caught the fairway bunker on the left hand side, and the fairway bunker on the left hand side is a really deep fairway bunker, so I could only sort of hit a 9 iron out back onto the fairway. Now it's a par five, a reasonably long par five. I had 175 to the flag, 175 meters that is to the flag. It was a little bit downwind. and I hit probably my worst shot
Oh
of the
no.
day. I almost cold topped it. It
No.
didn't go any higher than probably 10 feet off the ground at any point in time.
Oh no.
Landed about 30 meters short of the green, skipped up onto the green and rolled up to 2 feet.
Oh no. Did you did you apply a penalty to your score at that point? Just going, this is not
No,
okay.
no, tapped it in. I went, easy
Or did
putt.
you just turn
No,
around?
oh,
Did you
no,
turn around?
easy birdie.
Did you turn around to the playing partners and go, "Hey, that's the Tiger Woods stinger that I've been working on.
No, I think they realised as I was sort of sheepishly
Yeah,
walking up to the green. Uh,
that's my downwind stinger."
yeah, they looked at me and went, "Did you mean to hit it a bit higher than that?" I'm like,
No, what are
"Yeah,
you talking about? That's perfect strike.
yeah." So,
Yeah,
anyways, birdie, look, easy birdie. Fairway bunker. 9 iron out, 5 iron to 2 feet, easy.
beautiful.
So, got a shot back. So I was pretty happy with that. Hit a good fairway, full fairway off the 11th tee. It was into the wind, par four. Punched a little 7 iron into probably about 20 feet. And it was
Three putted.
actually, yeah,
Oh, so good.
you missed my lead up.
Sorry.
So it was actually the same putt as what I'd had in last round of golf in June, which I four putted. So, so I'm getting better. And
Mm.
it's downhill down grain. And I said to myself as I was standing over the putt, I said, okay,
Just
it's
cozy it
down,
down for a nice safe three putt. You'll be right.
it's downhill, down grain. All right.
Yeah.
So make sure that you just lag it down, good pace, somewhere around the flag. And I have just absolutely ripped it about 15 feet past the hole. And I just stood there and just went, WTF, like, what are you thinking, dude? So it's just like,
Sorry, I've lost it. It's so good.
it's just one of those moments. Yeah, it's a golf moment where, you know, you know what you have to do.
Yep.
You've had the experience in that exact shot before.
Yeah.
So
How hard is
like,
it? It's
how
a
hard is
putt.
it? It's just the execution that you know what you have to do,
Yeah.
and you just don't do it. You have a brain fade. Like and I don't understand it. It's the mystery of the game. Like I
It's
stood there. It rolled 15 feet. I just stood there and went like,
what are
what?
you doing? Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
We've all been there.
like and I know like I'm a bit rusty at the moment because I haven't played for a couple of months and all the rest, but like I still don't expect to do that.
No. Well, you shouldn't expect to do that. If you do
No.
expect to do that, then there are other problems.
Yeah. So and it might just be one of those sort of rust things that'll sort of because I did sort of get those things out of my game when I was playing well throughout sort of April and May. I did get those things out of my game, but they just seem to have crept back
Oh,
into my game again. So I just need to
it's golf, mate.
and again it's those reps. It's the miles under the legs that you just got to do the time. That's all you
You
can
do.
do.
You do. You do. You do. Anyway, I have lost track. What hole are you up to now?
So that's 11. So
Oh
birdie
God.
birdie bogey start for the back nine.
Right.
So on 12, par three, pretty regulation par, 7 iron onto the green, two putts, pretty easy.
Mm.
Get to my nemesis hole, 13,
Ah, yes.
right?
Water up the
And
left.
and again, it was downwind and I half thought about taking a driver off the tee and just ripping it over the fairway bunkers. But I've tried that before and just snap hooked it into the hazard. So 4 iron. All right, so I hit a 4 iron and actually hit a pretty good 4 iron down the fairway. I only had a little 8 iron into the green, and I hit it, I reckon, 40 meters right of the flag
Ooh,
of where I was aiming. Um, and yeah, got down there. Still had a pretty reasonably easy pitch, just pitching onto the green and letting it roll down to the flag. I almost pitched it onto through the other side of the green and almost missed the green. It was just on the fringe through the green. So
wow.
just hit it too hard. Like I just missed my landing area. I had my landing spot that I was aiming at, and I just hit it too hard. I hit it
Had
probably,
the touch of a baby elephant.
yeah, that was it. Probably about a meter and a half past my landing area, and it just then sort of went over. There's a little sort of hump just short of the pin. Went over the hump and just down and almost rolled off the other side of the green.
Champagne
Um,
golf.
yeah, Champagne
Fantastic.
Golf. I only had probably about a 15-foot putt, which I was pretty confident over when I was standing over it. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'm pretty confident I might make this.
Smash it.
No, I hit the worst, weakest lag putt down short right of the flag to about 2 foot.
Yeah, okay. But do you think there's any uh, element of being gun shy from, the 11th green of steaming it through 15 feet past, or
Oh no, because this was actually into the grain, so I was uphill into the grain. So it no, there shouldn't. I certainly consciously there wasn't. I just hit a poor putt, and had a bit of a decel and sort of lagged it down there to about 2 feet and then missed that.
oh no. Oh, that caught me by surprise.
Yeah. So
Oh,
walked off with a double bogey and just went,
what are you doing?
where did that
Where
come
did that
from?
come from? So, Mr. Two Footer, was that just a lack of concentration tap in kind of stabbed it past, or
No, well, yes, I just pulled it. I've got this. I've got this habit with the broomstick is that if I have my hands too high on the backswing, I actually close the face and then
mm,
pull the putt. So I've got to be very careful to make sure that my hands are in the right position. They're not too high so that the weight of the putter actually works. And it does slightly open through my backswing so that then it comes back to square at impact. But certainly and looking back and thinking back, I think that's what I did is that I just didn't take enough time over the putt. I had my hands just a little bit too high. And as I took the putter back, the face just closed and it came through closed and it missed.
missed?
Yeah.
Well, wow.
Yeah. So anyway, look, again, one of those things that I think is just a little bit of rust. Thought, all right, just forget about that and let's walk to the next tee. Hit a really good driving iron off the 14th short par four. Only had 94 meters to the flag. So I took my 54-degree wedge. Hit actually a pretty good shot, like straight at the flag. However, there was a little bit too much wind.
Mm,
Didn't anticipate how much wind there was up above the tree line, and it sort of got caught up in the wind and ended up short in the bunker. So got up there, and I was reasonably confident over the bunker shot, and I proceeded to leave it in the bunker.
ooh, wow. Wheels have come off.
Mm. Yes, by this stage, I was actually feeling a little bit tired, to be honest with you. Just the roller coaster of going through being even par after seven, having a wipe on eight, bogeying nine, birdie on 10, three putting 11. The short miss putt on the previous hole, I was actually getting a little bit mentally fatigued.
Mm.
Even though I was trying to stay focused, I was trying to stay in the moment, but it just was starting to. I could just feel it. You can just start to feel the mental demons creeping in.
It's potentially the lack of meditation.
Yeah, potentially, it could be the lack of golf as well.
Mm.
Maybe.
Potato, potato.
So anyway, I second bunker shot. I actually had a really good bunker shot to about 2 feet and hold the putt for bogey.
Yeah, so it's just like you got out and two putted.
Effectively, yeah,
So here's a question: does that
yeah.
count as a sand save?
I was actually thinking that a little bit earlier on, and I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know how they view it in the stats because
Feel like
it's not
feel like it
really.
feel like it can't,
Mm,
even though it kind of is.
yeah,
Bit like hole in one with your second ball.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
putt.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't count it as a sand save because, yeah, for that to happen, I would expect my first bunker shot to be the one that
Yeah,
I get up and down with.
yeah. I think that's got to be the rule
Mm,
statistically.
yep. So 15 long par five, hit a four fairway down the right hand side. Then took my three utility iron. Actually hit a reasonably good shot, and it landed probably a foot short of getting over the fairway bunker down the right hand side. And it's a really tough shot actually, the third shot into 15, because water goes all the way down the left hand side and then comes in just short of the green, and
Mm.
they tuck the pin sort of just in behind where the water was. So I've got this,
Don't look at the pin.
yeah, I've got well, I had a 7 iron over, well, from the fairway bunker over water to the flag, and I hit probably my best shot of the day, I reckon. And it covered the flag. Didn't quite have the club to get to the flag because, obviously coming out of the fairway bunker, but I had probably about a 20 foot putt coming up the hill, and had a fairly easy two putt for par.
Nice.
Mm. 16 par four, smoked a drive down the left hand side of the fairway. Only had 54 meters to the flag. Hit a really nice pitch. It pitched probably a meter to the left of the flag and just jagged back to close to the front of the green, but still was only maybe 12 feet from the hole. And I proceeded just to hit my putt, probably, I don't know, 4 feet past, just completely hit it through the break. But
Mm.
I made the returning putt. So
Nice.
it
Nice.
was a par. I was a little bit, yeah, a little bit concerned over the 4 footer. Yeah, was thinking back to my previous couple of three putts, going, oh yeah, I don't feel overly confident over this, but I managed to clear my mind and hit a pretty good putt straight at the middle. So that was good. 17, par three. This is the sort of the one that reminds me a little bit of the TPC Sawgrass.
Yep.
Only had 101 meters to the flag, but
Easy shot.
but no bailout, all over water,
Hard to
uh,
find.
water short, water right, water at the back, and a bunker on the left hand side.
That's a gap wedge. You'll be fine.
Well, I hit a 50 by 50 degree wedge, just a half punch 50 degree wedge. Landed probably halfway between the flag and the water on the right. Sucked a little bit down to the water, but ended up on the fringe. And again, just knocked my putt about 4 feet past. I just didn't have the right speed at all, and throughout the day, I just don't feel as though I had the right speed through on the greens, and I missed the returning.
Oh no.
So another three putt.
Ugh, good grief.
So after sort of, telling the story that my mechanic thinks I'm a really good putter,
Apparently, you were.
little bit rusty today.
Mm,
Anyway, so we came to the last, and again, last par four around the water hazard, all the way down the left hand side to the green. Fairly strong par four. It's actually the hardest hole on the golf course. So I bailed out massively to the right hand side to a point where I had to pitch backwards back onto the fairway.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm sort of thinking, okay, I finished the front nine, double bogey, bogey. I don't want to be finishing the back nine, bogey, double
Bogey double.
bogey. And here I was 205 meters out from the flag, needing to sort of get down in three to avoid a double bogey. Proceeded to pull my three utility iron out and absolutely smoked my three utility iron onto the right hand side of the green.
Well, that's good because I thought you were going to say you proceeded to pull your three utility iron into the Monty.
No,
So
no. And it was probably one of my better shots of the day. I was still probably 35 feet from the flag, so still a fairly lengthy putt.
it's no gimme.
And again, I reckon I missed the hole. It wouldn't have been by a meter and a half, but it wouldn't have been far from it.
Oh, wow.
So
We're really
it,
painting a picture here
so
of the
again,
Missing
the
Links golf show of
the
putting prowess.
my touch on the greens left a lot to be desired.
Mm,
So I then had about a 7 foot putt to avoid making double bogey, and I probably hit my best putt of the day straight in the
nice.
middle of the hole.
Make your best shot
Um,
last on every
yeah,
hole.
and walked off with a bogey five, but even still 5 over around the back nine. So 3 over, 5 over, 8 over, par
Eight over.
72,
It's not a bad effort.
880.
It's a decent
Look,
round of golf.
there was a lot of rust there,
Mm,
as I've said a couple of times, and I felt and saw glimpses of my game through April and May. But, at the end of the day, I've played once in 2 months. For me to go out and expect to shoot somewhere around par, I think is probably stretching a little bit. I mean, yes, I was par through 7 holes, but yeah, I mean, look, I didn't have too many expectations coming into today. It was really just to get through the round without injury. I achieved that. So I think that at the end of the day, yeah, 8 over is not great, not really sort of what I would consider to be, well, even an average score. It's probably, quite a below average score, but I achieved what I set out to.
it's in good stead for next week, I think.
Yeah, look, and again, my September coming up, I've decided next week, because there was the Glenmore Seniors is on Monday and then the Magenta Seniors is Friday. I'm not going to play in Magenta.
Mm,
I'm just gonna I'm targeting one event per week through September. So I've got the Glenmore Seniors next Monday, the second. The week after that, the Coinda Waters Senior.
mm,
The week after that is the Carnarvon Seniors. That's the one that was postponed from late June.
yep.
So that's really Carnarvon's that's my target.
Mm,
So that's when
fair
I'll,
enough.
hopefully would have shaken the rust out a little bit. I would have spent a bit of time in the high performance center, bit of time around the greens, get my putting back into some sort of shape. So I'm hoping that by the 16th of September that yeah, that's when my game will be back in reasonably good shape. And again, Carnarvon Seniors is a qualifying for the New South Wales Senior Open, and that's going to be my last shot at it. Because then at the end of the month, I think it's the 30th of September, the Wyong Seniors are on, and I'll have a game in that as well. I mean, that's David McCullum's stomping ground, so I'll go and have a game there.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So
Wow.
lots of positives. Big one being I'm back.
Well, you
Um,
finished the round. I think
yeah,
that's the main thing. That's
yeah,
box number one ticked.
yeah. And yes, a lot of work to do. I feel like I've taken a few steps back, probably to about where I was maybe, early March. When I was still sort of shooting, I was shooting in the low 80s, and then all of a sudden it all came together, and
Mm.
started shooting sort of mid to low 70s, which I don't think I'm far away from it. I can still feel it. I can see the signs of it. My ball striking is still there. I've just got to, yeah, shake the cobwebs off and yeah, get a couple of rounds under my belt.
Look, it could just happen. Really, you just go out. You know, no surprise that you don't feel like you've got the touch on the first game out, but it could just as easily be there in the next
Mm,
round.
yeah,
It's not like
yeah,
it's a technical issue. It's just a feel thing. So
yeah,
there's no
yeah,
reason why that won't come back.
yeah. But again, I'm not expecting to do, you know, amazing things next week. If I can shoot somewhere in the 70s next week at Glenmore, I think I'll be pretty happy. That's what while it is in the back of my mind that the Glenmore Seniors is a qualifying for the New South Wales Senior Open as well. I do feel as though I need a couple more rounds under my belt to really sort of shake the cobblers off. So, I'm going to go there without any expectations and just, see it as, getting my foot back in the door. Yeah, who knows what could happen at the end of the day, but that's my goal of just taking that next step forward of getting back into some competitive golf. But as I said, Carnarvon, middle of September, here we come.
How do you feel about playing with such a high handicapper next week as Dave McClellan?
He's actually he's playing the group after me, so I'm not actually playing with Dave McClellan
Okay.
next week. But yes, in very surprising news, I did look at Dave's handicap index, and I've got to give him half a shot now. No,
That's
it's been a
so good.
very long time since I've had to give David half a shot, but I did message him and sort of remind him of that fact. And apparently he has been struggling with a back injury. So
Oh, here we go.
yeah,
Um, so I've been thinking about this, and I think what might be nice is just when you turn up to the course, and no doubt you'll see him. Well, you're driving down together, aren't you?
yeah.
Maybe just get it out of the home bar, nice little shot glass, just half fill it. It could just be with water. We're not trying to derail him. Just half fill it, and here you go, Dave. Here's the half a shot that I've got to give you.
Nice, nice. I like it. I
Just
like
see
it.
how he goes with that.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that will go over like a lead balloon.
Just try and get it on film as well, or at least
Yeah,
record it so that we can
yeah.
slide it into the next episode.
Should I
Um,
maybe slide him some Voltaren as well, just to
oh, maybe
you
go,
know
yeah,
to rub on the back just to
yeah,
see how he goes?
yeah, yeah, potentially. Well, that's very interesting, Andy Walker. That you finished with an 80, an
Mm.
8 over par 80. Um, Given that you're not playing this week, that's
No,
the end of August, is it not for you?
it is. It is. So that was my one and only round in August.
Should we be having a quick look at the yearly championship scoreboard?
We can do. We can do. Of course, I mean, my score is not going to change, and given your score, I think I've got a pretty good idea of where it's going to land for August.
Well, let's just have a look. So just punching the numbers into the scoreboard, which I have in front of me here. So Andy Walker, 27th of the 8th, uh, playing off an index of 2.2, gross differential of 6.5.
Mm.
So a net differential of 4 minus 4.3, which has a differential percentage that is minus 195%. It's not ideal.
Well, I mean, is that my worst gross differential of the year, or did I have a pretty ordinary one earlier in the year?
That's your worst.
Yeah.
It's your worst result.
But that's the
You
thing
had
is
a
that
yeah.
now that I'm down to a relatively low handicap, I feel as though my margin for error in the
Has narrowed.
formula, in the formula that you've come up with, which
Well, it
I think
has, but it
I think needs to be debated as to whether this is an appropriate formula to be moving forward with.
always
Uh,
happy to debate it. Always happy to debate it. But this is the set of rules that we embarked upon this competition with. So
mm,
that is what it is for this year. We'll review it at Christmas.
yeah. So
So that's
I sort of feel as though, yeah,
minus
given
195%. So let's just have a look. So my round playing off 8.1 had a gross differential of 12, which is a net differential of minus 3.9, which is less than minus 4.3. I think we all know where this is going. That is minus 48%.
mm,
Andy Walker, that gives me the month of August.
mm,
And more importantly, I mean, I know we had a previous episode called The Race Titans, but it really has because now it is Andy Walker on 11 points and my good self on 12 points,
mm,
having finally
taking the lead.
taken the lead with
Yeah.
what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 months to play.
Well,
It's anyone's
you did
game.
take an early lead in the year. Then I pegged it back through
True, true, true,
February, March, April, and May.
true.
So I just sort of feel as though that maybe the start of the year and or the first half of the year and the second half of the year are, fairly similar. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. What I do know though is for all of your whinging about the formulas and the scoring system, you know, through 8 months of the year, the score is 12 plays 11. I
Mm.
think that's worked out quite well.
Well, I don't know, because you still got to look in July, and my injury issues. Um, Yeah, I'm not convinced that it's the best formula. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at our rounds in August, or our individual rounds in August, you've had a -5 in a par event, and I've had 31 points in a Stableford event. So both five below our handicap.
Mm.
And the differential is what, -48% to -195%. That to me doesn't seem like it's the best formula.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, I think there's some work to do on the formula.
Oh, I like the controversy of it, I think. And unless it turns around and you start shooting under your handicap, because as soon as you do that,
You got no
you,
chance.
you shoot one shot under your handicap, and then all of a sudden I've got to shoot a 74 or something like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
it's volatile. It's
Yeah,
definitely volatile.
and as we found out, when I shot two under in April,
Mm.
you have very little chance of catching me with a
No, because you had a positive differential of 147%, which whilst I
yeah,
was playing off 8.5, that would mean that to beat you, I would have to shoot four under par.
yeah, yeah.
So, which, we're not ruling it out of possibility, but it's fair to say that it's probably unlikely.
So does that mean that you're maybe not conceding, but sort of saying that the four bonus points at the end of the year may be coming my way?
Oh, that's a very good point because that would then put you back in the lead at 15 to
Yeah,
12.
yeah. That's and that was very much in the back of my mind
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
with
mean,
4 months to play.
I'll never concede anything until the final whistle goes. You know that, but
Mm.
it's a mountain.
Four unders.
It's a
I mean,
mountain to climb.
that's bigger than Everest.
It's a mountain to climb. I mean, unless I could do the old American system of just play 9 holes, shoot two under, and hey
And
presto,
extrapolate that out.
it's a four under par 18.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you've actually got to play a competition,
Yeah,
a registered competition
changes the game somewhat.
in Australia to be able to do that. So I reckon you're going to struggle.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. So how about then on that sheet that you've got in front of you, just whack that 4 points in for me.
Can't do it yet. It won't let me.
No?
Won't let me enter it into that cell. Yeah, even if I
Mm.
wanted to, won't let me. Sorry.
Oh.
There you go, Pilgrims. It's 12 plays 11 with the sword of Damocles 4 points hanging over my head.
Mm.
So who knows what's going to happen. But Andy Walker, we're at an hour and 30 minutes.
Ooh. Okay.
I feel like we've certainly come back with a vengeance after not having a lot of golf to talk about.
We've had a regional out tonight.
We've really punished the Pilgrims with some
Mm.
ongoing banter about these 2 rounds. But I am excited to hear about what happens next week. I think
Mm.
it's every chance that we will have the recording of the next episode after that round and hear all about how you went
Yes.
in the Glenmore seniors.
Yes. No, looking forward to that. I haven't played Glenmore before, but I've jumped onto Google Earth and had a little bit of a look at it from obviously just from a top-down perspective. They don't have any YouTube videos that I've
No
found
photos. That's a
on the
shame.
holes. Yeah, which I was quite when I played in the Camden seniors, they had that, and that was really helpful to be able to visualize sort of what I'd be looking at from the tee box. But yeah, Glenmore, I'm yet to find any YouTube videos. So
Mm,
yeah, Pilgrims, if you're on YouTube and you want to have a bit of a look for me, and
fine. Or if anyone is from the Glenmore area, get out there,
mm,
film the course, and send it to Andy Walker.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, when this goes to air, I would have already played in it. So even if you do look, it's probably going to be too late anyway. Thoughts?
Not, I don't know. No, because this will go. You'll have just under 24 hours by the time this goes live because that's on the Tuesday, isn't it?
No, it's Monday.
Yeah, okay. You're done. You're cooked. It's all over. Got my days wrong. Anyway, Pilgrims, it's been a lot of fun. I think
Mm,
that's all we've got time for
yep.
until next episode, which means that there can only be one thing left to do. Andy Walker, what is that thing?
Rock out, Pilgrims.